Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for June 10, 2022, the $700 million stolen edition. And we begin with that story from News 18, a first-time contributor to the Daily Compliance News. Nearly $700 million in public funds has been misappropriated from state-run banks in Iraq in a scandal implicating nearly 40 people. A 3-year probe has shown that it went missing due to forgery, embezzlement, manipulation, money laundering, and abuse of position. The fraud took place at a branch in Maysan as well as other branches near the capital. The investigation did not specify the time frame of the offenses, but it looks like the suspected activity, or at least the report says, in 2019. So 41 people have been arrested. So Iraq continues to have big corruption problems. They've embroiled many Western companies because of their corruption, and now, no surprise, it's internal to the company. We have 2 articles from Reuters today. The first one is Sepp Blatter and Michael Plantini are finally going to trial on corruption charges which triggered their downfall from the Summit of Global Football. The pair are charged with unlawfully arranging payments of $2 million from FIFA to Plantini. The case ended Blatter's 17-year career at FIFA in disgrace and torpedoed hopes of his friend and colleague Michael Plantini succeeding him. It was one of 25 investigations by the Swiss Attorney General's office into corruption in football, and there are 12 still pending. So Mr. Blatter finally may have to go before Lady Justice. In obviously bad news for Ericsson, in another Reuters article, the SEC has opened a probe over Ericsson's 2019 Iraqi bribery report. As most listeners will recall, somehow Ericsson did not uncover bribery prior to the settlement of its $1 billion plus FCPA action, and now is facing another set of investigations, both by the DOJ and now from the SEC. One can only suspect that both the DOJ and SEC are not going to be very happy with Ericsson, number one, for not finding out about this, and then 2, the quality of their investigation. So expect another big fine on Ericsson. And finally, why is Texas Attorney General investigating Twitter? Well, it's so he can suck up to Elon Musk and score points with the right-wing nutbags that are his constituency. So if you do business in Texas, that's what you're going to get. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.